good to go. Right.
So we're going to start in about 3 or 4 minutes, so you still have time to chat. Okay, we can call the annual meeting to order. 10:58. So the first order of business is just to indicate whether we have a quorum. We need to have 20% of the legal voters of the old meeting house, so that would mean members and regular contributors. We have met a quorum. Maureen and I both did a count here, and we're safely past the quorum. So we do have a quorum, so we can transact business according to our Constitution. So we'd like to start by having Ramin grace us with an opening prayer.
Okay. I'm not used to standing down here. I don't know where to go. Will you pray with me? Gracious God, we come to you in this annual meeting in a spirit of community, love, and kindness. We hope that you teach us to speak compassionately with one another in a loving dialogue, to do the great work that you require us to do for the benefit of this community, this city, this amazing state, country, and world. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay, old business, the approval of the 2023 meeting minutes. They are in the annual report you will see on pages 3 through 7. And thank you to Maureen for doing those minutes. And Maureen has been clerk for 3 years, and she will be graciously stepping down now from her duties. So I would entertain a motion to approve the 2023 annual meeting minutes. Okay, we have Janice has moved, and whoever said so moved out. Okay, so Sally seconds it. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by raising your hands. Okay, any opposed? Okay, thank you. The minutes have been unanimously approved. Okay, pastor reports first. And let's start with Ramin, and then we'll go to Rona. And by the way, just so it's clear, all of these reports we have, there are lengthy reports from everybody in the annual meeting, the handout that you have. So we're not going to have everybody go through and exhaustively indicate what's in there, but highlights would be helpful. So,
just a few brief highlights. We are an incredibly healthy, strong church, as seen through our committee process, our healthy financial balance statements, and that we are a growing church through the loving grace of Rona and the whole ministry team, including the music ministry, youth coordinators, and all the volunteers. So we're in a great shape. I'm proud of every single one of you in here and all those who contribute.
Thank you, Ramin. Any questions or comments on the report? Okay. Seeing none, we'll have Rona provide her last report to us.
Yes, it is my last report as co-pastor. I want to thank Ramin for the work we've done together and how much we've enjoyed it, and to thank the whole congregation. It has been really wonderful serving as your pastor in the many different capacities that I've done that. Also thank all of the staff, and I think that my really biggest thank you right now goes to Tim Noonan, because, wait a minute, Tim and I went through one of the most difficult ministry times that I think anybody can imagine, with COVID, with having to pivot on a dime to being online, through all of the discussions and emotions around opening or not, reopening or not. And throughout all of that, not only did I work with Tim in the executive board meetings, but there were innumerable times when we talked and emailed. And to have a lay leader who was as responsive, as calm, as level-headed, and as wise as Tim was really a huge blessing. So thank you, Tim.
Well, thank you all, and really thank you, Rona. Rona and I, as indicated, did a lot together, and we worked really well together, and it was really important to do that. And it was so great to have a leader like Rona during that time, which Rona said was challenging. So thank you, Rona, for those kind words. Okay, Circle of Care report, the very important Circle of Care group, and Marcia. And Marcia, let's see, we got a microphone there.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's helped out with meals, helped deliver flowers, who's said, put me on the list, I can do this, I can do that. Please let me know, I've already had one today tell me, let me know if you want to be on the list to cook meals. We've had a lot of need recently for meals, and we don't want to overwhelm the same people. So if you know you're on the list and you didn't get one when you heard in church that there's going to be a meal train, it's because I'm trying to spare you, but if you and save you for later. But if you would like to be on a meal train for anybody, please let me know. Yeah, we're a branch of the CCMs, so do also let me know if there are people who are hurting, who a bouquet of flowers would be most welcome. Do let me know that as well, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia, for leading that very important group. We are a family that has benefited from Circle of Care, and we just did a Sunday school service, and it's not only the meals, it's the care. The care is so important that people really do care when people get sick and our people may pass away. So it's a wonderful committee, you know, central to the old meeting house. Okay, action items. We are into the budget. I believe we did, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll do the standing committee reports after. So proposed 2024 budget and financial reports. Janice Waterman, who has been treasurer, maybe not for 200 years, but seems like that.
Okay, thank you. Oh, it's on.
Okay. So we have a motion from Alice to approve the budget. Is there a second for that? Okay, Peter, seconds the motion. And now we will have discussion, and Janice would probably like to lead the discussion at this point.
Great, thanks so much. I hope you can hear me well enough from sitting, because I don't think I'm able to stand up and read and juggle my papers. So, yes, I'm really pleased, just to regress for 1 second, pleased to report that we came in under budget for 23. There were many joyous events during the year, the 200th anniversary, the installation of Ramin, Rona's celebration, and the many wonderful arts in fundraising events that we had really increased the number of participants and the number of people coming to church. And therefore, our donations, our collections were up a little bit. And that was wonderful. And it allowed us this year to take the Christmas Eve collections, which are our largest collections, and we $600 went to the discretionary fund and $600 went to the youth group, because we didn't need to have them in our operating fund. We had come out in a very good place, so I was delighted to be able to do that. All righty, so for the 24 budget, the Finance Committee and I worked carefully to put together what we hope is both a generous, caring budget that also accurately reflects what our pledge income is in real terms. I think we when we were doing the budget, we were using the number of $185,000 for pledges, and I think, Jim, the last email I saw from you, the actuals that came in was like 184.5, so I think it was a pretty good guess. Yeah, no. And we appreciate people getting their pledges and financial commitments into us so that we know in advance. So on the income side, it's pretty straightforward. We have, our collections and contributors of record fundraising, which we had some really successful fundraisers this year that were also fun, and we hope to continue that next year. Chili auction, chicken pie, the plant and pie sale, and so forth, were all very successful fundraisers. And I did increase the rent number just a little bit this year in the budget because we are fully opened back up, and people have expressed interest in renting the building for various events. And I'd be remiss without saying that we, the Finance Committee and the Executive Board, the church, we're just so grateful for the ongoing support that we get from all of you to keep our budget alive and active in meeting the needs of our congregation and community. On the expense side, I increased the line item of building and grounds just a little bit. That combines the repairs, the maintenance, the supplies, and salting and sanding and plowing and that sort of thing. And many thanks to our dedicated trustees who really are the people who get the lawns mowed and do the snow blowing and fix all of the things. It's wonderful. We continue to support our youth in Christian education, Circle of Care. I did make a few notes on this budget, as you can see on like the side columns, like there was insurance rates have gone up a little bit. Our printing and copying expenses went up a little bit, and there were a few reasons for that, but we are reevaluating what our copier needs are. Our copier died halfway through the year, and it happened right at the same time there was the flood, so there weren't a lot of other places that we could get copying done. But we had a very generous donation from a person for a couple of smaller copiers, and we've been using those, and those have worked well, and we're just going to reassess what we need for the future. So that's sort of our operating costs, and we really are able to come in pretty closely generally to what those numbers usually come in pretty close. Personnel, we've made this budget includes a salary adjustment for our staff, which we think is important to honor the work that they all do. And we are certainly appreciative of all of that make our music and worship and all the other supportive services that go on, nursery attendants and so forth. We had I put a larger amount of money in pulpit supply this year because with Rona not being part of the ministry team, we aren't quite sure what the future is going to look like, whether we're going to be looking for another associate pastor or it's going to be a different configuration of support services. And we didn't want to rush into that, so that's going to be something that's thoughtfully discussed in the next 3 or 4 months, but I wanted to have some money tucked away for that because we'll need to pay for some pulpit supply and some other services. We're proud to continue the tradition of funding the Justice in Action budget at 10% of our operating costs, and that brings our budget in at $229,305. And I'm happy to take any questions that people may have or anything else.
Just wanted to say one thing before. The people that are on Zoom, they're not on Zoom because we weren't able to get Zoom going. So they are on YouTube. So if you have a question or a comment, you can put it in the chat, and Tim Shea will let me know that there is that question or comment, and we will honor that. So, but other than that, questions of Janice? Nancy?
This isn't a question, but a comment. I just want to say how important the Finance Committee is and the work that Janice and Jim and that whole committee does. How we spend our money and how we get our money is so much a part of who we are as a church. And she and they do it with such care and compassion. It is a huge part of our ministry, and it's really important to honor that, just as important as all of the other committees, because it is a huge expression of who we are and how we do it, and they do it with such care and compassion. I just want to really appreciate the work that they do.
I
Here,
just
here.
want to add to that I've served several different churches, and I have said to Janice that she is the only church treasurer I have worked with who has an abundance mindset rather than a scarcity mindset, which is quite exceptional. You wouldn't know that unless you'd worked in several churches. And I think that affects everything about how we work with money here. And I'm so grateful to you for that, Janice.
Okay.
Dreaded microphone. Thank you. 2 questions. I see last year's numbers and I see this year's numbers, but they're not in the same place. Did it not used to show us a comparison? That's one. And the second question is there anything budgeted for a co-pastor, or are we just going with one pastor?
It used to be, you're right, Julie, I used to put it on a spreadsheet and have last year's compared to what's new. And we decided to not do that, actually. I decided not to do that last year because it became so confusing to people to look at the old and then have their eyes follow the line, so I didn't do it that way. But the details of last year are included in you just have to flip over to see it. And I hope that that's okay. I was trying to use it in this format to be able to put comments that went along with the current budget. Into your second question, we are not budgeting for an associate pastor at this time. So we plunked that money just in the pulpit supply line, and then we have some rainy day savings we could pull from should the need arise and we get to a place where we are in that position. So that's all under discussion.
So I want to partly address the question Julie asked. It's not that we're not looking for an associate minister. We have to figure out what it is the church needs going forward and what's available out there. There are not that many ministers anymore in the UCC or any other Protestant denomination. We are seeing churches close at a rapid pace. I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't find someone. It just means we're going to have to be a little more diligent and patient about how we do find someone, or if we want to find someone in the future. It's not a decision I'm making. It's a decision we're going to make most likely as a team, I imagine. But there are real issues going on in the UCC and across the country with an incredible shortage of ministers. They're just not there. So it's very different than it was 3-4 years ago.
Okay, thank you, Ramin. Any other comments or questions? Not to pile on here, but I think Janice's responses to Julie's question is classic Janice. I've never heard her not have an answer that's a good one to a question that's asked. So Janice is truly one of the treasures here and one of the wise people that are very important to the operation of the old meeting house. So thank you, Janice. And what's that? She's a treasure here. That's right. Thanks, Selena. So we've had discussion. We have a motion. We have a second. We have discussion. So I'm going to ask for a vote. All those in favor of approving the proposed budget signify by raising your hand. Okay. Any opposed? Well, we have a budget approved unanimously, so that's great. Okay, standing committee reports. I have a report in the handout. I'll have a few brief highlights myself. Speaking, my report is really for the executive board, and one thing to me that was really important going into this year that we had a calm year, and we did. And it not only was calm, a lot of celebration. The 200th was just an incredible series of events. I hate to single out people because everybody does so much, but Catherine was an incredible job leading the whole effort. And I know a lot of people did a lot of work. And I also want to indicate Tom Schmidt's book, Presence in the Center. Many of you have read it, probably. And there's copies are still available, but it's a wonderful history and a great thing to leave for the old meeting house, to have that as part of 200 celebration. So that was a celebration. Ramin's installation was a celebration. That was a wonderful event. And of course, honoring Rona. So we really had 3 really big events in this year, and they were all celebrations, and they were all joyous. And so that was great. And I think that was really important because, as Rona indicated, when you come off tough times, tough years, challenging times, it was really good to have this kind of year. And so I was pleased to do that, to see that happen. I want to thank Deb Reed. I don't think Deb is here today, but she is leaving the executive board. She did a great job for her time. And so that's all I will say about my report. Any questions or comments? Okay, so, okay, Marcia. I
just want to highlight how you mentioned Lori.
Oh, yes, thank you, Marcia. Yeah, you can never forget and never should, as I said in my report, be remiss to not mention Lori. Lori's unbelievable, and she really is, and so my plea last year was don't overburden Lori. If you don't have to go to her, don't go to her. Committees usually can handle a lot of what's happening, but Lori does an amazing job, and Ramin talked about that, what a great work ethic she has, and she's just a pleasure, and it was really it's great for me as moderator for 5 years to work with Lori, so yeah, thank you, Marcia. Yeah, and again, I don't mean to, the only other thing I say, there's so much that's done here by so many people, it really is remarkable, and that to me is my lasting thought of really of being a moderator, is just to see that, because things just happen. I mean, they just happen, but of course people have to make them happen. But things do happen here, and a lot does happen. It's because there's so many leaders and there's so many people that do a lot of work here. So, okay, if there's no other, then I will, the Spiritual Life Committee, Marilla? Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I did forget that, Marilla. Yeah, we need to do that. It's very important. The 2024 slate of authors and committees is Linda here? I haven't seen Linda today. Yes. Oh, she is. There she is. Hi, Linda. I didn't see her. Sorry. So Linda has, the report is on page 29, or you will see the slate. So 29 of the annual report. And, okay, and why am I not sure? There it is. Okay. So, Linda, if you, we do have one amendment, I know. So if we can talk about the amendment. Oh, we don't have to.
I emailed you last night.
Oh, okay.
Oh. I
I missed
emailed
that,
you
Linda.
last
Okay.
night.
Okay, so we
So
don't have to.
we're all set. Everything's staying the way it is.
Okay,
Can everybody hear me?
yes.
All right, so, wow, this year's committee was just amazing. They were so efficient, and everything ran really smoothly. We had tons of new volunteers that have never been on committees, and, I feel really energized that this next year is going to be fantastic. So, thank you for everybody that helped, and we're going to have fun this year.
Thank you, Linda. Before we have any other discussion, would somebody like to make a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the slate of officers as
Okay.
presented.
Richard moves that we approve the slate of officers and Jim, committees? Jim? Jim Tring seconds. Okay, further discussion. Okay, Sherry? Sherry needs a mic there.
On SLC, Kathy Satterfield has an expiration date of 2025, but she's in the 2026 group. Is that, which one's correct?
Excuse me, but that's also the same for Arts Ministries. Sarah Brock is completing the second year of
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Sherry, for the question. It's a good clarification. Thanks, Alice and Linda, for clarifying that. Other discussion? Okay, before we vote, I just want to thank Linda. People usually don't jump forward to do a job like this, and it's not an easy job. There's a lot of calls, there's a lot of emails, there's a lot of getting people. There's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of talking about who would be good on committees. And Linda, I have to say, every year she just jumps at it. So thank you, Linda, for all your work. Okay, so we are ready to vote. So we are voting to accept the proposed 2024 slate of officers and committees. So all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. So we're going to have some nay votes here on something. People think of what you... Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Marilla, we're back to you, I think, on the spiritual life.
So the spiritual life had a wonderful and busy year, as always. A lot of our work is working with the pastors and making worship happen the way we all want it to. Are there any questions that folks have after reading the report?
Okay. And at the end of the committee reports, we can have a motion to accept all the committee reports, but let's do that all together. How about Christian Ed? Is Hannah? I haven't seen Hannah today. Oh, Joey? Go ahead.
Hannah's at work today, so she asked me to report. The big thing that she wanted to call out was how appreciative she is to all the volunteers who are spending time and giving talents with our youth group, Marcia, Tim, with what they're doing to get the middle school youth group going. For the Sunday school activities, we continue to use the SHINE curriculum. And we're exploring, thinking about what kind of curriculum is going to fit best in the future and what that might evolve into. And that is to continue on into middle school youth group and high school youth group. We're hoping to plan a trip for the high school youth group this spring. whether it's a service trip or that's in discussions right now. Let's see here. And then this summer is going to be our first Vacation Bible gathering camp. And we've got a package for this that incorporates the teachings and activities in each day, so it's a little bit more organized. And we're very appreciative of everyone that stepped up to help with Sunday school. Let's see here. Shout out to Justice and Action Committee for doing their work in January with the Sunday school group. And for all the teachers who've stepped up, you're really helping move the gears along, and really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Joey. Comments, questions? It's been really nice to see a re-energized Christian education effort this year, and it was great to have input there on what Joey was saying from one of our youth, Allie's baby here. So, okay, let's see, trustees. I haven't seen Mark either. Is Mark here? Mark is not here. We do have a written report from the trustees. Is anybody, other trustee, Nathan? Okay.
Probably don't need that, but don't have any problem talking loud enough. So yeah, I think we had a good year on the trustees this year. Probably our main specific project was replacing the roof on the bell tower. That looked like that had probably been there from the original construction. So it was definitely time for replacement of that. So we got that done. And then one unanticipated thing we dealt with this year was broken pipes in the parish house, which was a pretty eventful few days getting that fixed up and cleaned up. But we got that done. And a lot of our remaining work was just our typical work of cutting and splitting wood and bringing it in, and then our typical work bees, fall and summer work bees, where we get the place kind of spruced up for the coming season and battened down, of course, for winter. And a lot of work is done by Malcolm and Alan especially, of all of the day-to-day stuff of making sure that people can use the buildings and grounds, making sure that everything is snow-blown, paths are taken care of, making sure that our plowing is done so that people can utilize our facilities. So, and then our big project for this coming year is we're going to, I don't know if, probably anyone other than trustees would notice, but on this side we have clapboards that are not matching the originals. So part of our 200th anniversary celebration is to change those back to the more traditional style for this building. And then once we're done with that, having the whole church painted. So that's our goal.
Thank you, Nathan. It's another, trustees cannot be taken for granted. It's amazing the amount of work the trustees do. We don't have to worry about it because trustees will handle it. They do a great job. Okay. Justice in Action, Nancy.
Exercise anyway.
First, I want to thank Sandy Batchelder, who I don't think is here today, but she's going off the committee and has done so much over the last few years. So really appreciate her work. As I spoke earlier about the Finance Committee, part of what we do is the distribution of the funds that are set aside, the 10% of our operating budget, the equivalent of 10% of our operating budget going to a variety of charitable donations, and you can see that list in the annual report, as well as a description of those organizations to which we contribute. So that's an important piece And our focus this year in many respects has been around food. And so today, as was mentioned, we participated in teaching Sunday school, which was great fun, and focused on food and the need for food and sharing, and that some people don't have enough. And that is a part of what we do as a committee as well. We participate in a variety of activities, including the Onion River Food Shelf, the food shelf in Montpelier, donating food to the homeless on Tuesdays, doing snack packages and those kinds of things. So we appreciate all the work that that is done by a wide variety of people on those projects and more. And thank you all for your participation in this important work of our church.
Thank you, Nancy. Questions or comments? Does the next?
I want to speak on behalf of the Onion River Food Shelf. Myself and Glenn Sturgis are now the coordinators, but let's just say we are an old meeting house food shelf. Our volunteers come from the old meeting house, and our majority of the funding comes from the old meeting house, and we are very, very thankful for this community. We are seeing constant increases, not only in the number of families and households that we are serving, but also increases in the costs of what it takes to operate a food shelf. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Diana, for all the work you have done for a lot of years with Onion River Food Shelf. Okay, if there's no other, this will be a good time for me to indicate how pleased I am that Nancy Thomas will be the new moderator, succeeding me. And, Nancy is one of the wise people in the old meeting house with a lot of experience. She's been chair of Justice in Action for the last 5 years, and I'm on that committee, and she's done a wonderful job. And I am supremely confident she will also do a wonderful job as moderator. So it's great to have Nancy step forward out of her very busy life to do this. So thank you, Nancy. Okay, Arts Ministries. Catherine Adams, didn't see Catherine.
Out of town.
Well, Catherine's out of town. And we do have a written report, but if other member of the committee wants to. Catherine? Yeah, I'm sorry. Just so it's clear, Catherine Harris is out of town.
Yeah.
Catherine Cerulli is now going.
Yeah, on our committee, I'm CC now, just to distinguish. So we had a wonderful year, thanks to all of you who came and contributed to our events. And we are looking forward to another year of a lot of fun. All the people who work on that committee are just terrific. We want to say thank you to David, who is going off our committee this year, and who else? There's someone else that's going. Wendy! What am I thinking? Because I have a message from Wendy. She sent a text. She couldn't be here, but she wanted us to announce that the next exhibit, the next visual arts exhibit, is going to feature textile arts. And you don't have to be an artist to do it. Matter of fact, I'm submitting things that are not finished to show what the process looks like. It's messy, and it's often unfinished. But it's for anybody that has, whether it's knitting, quilting, any fiber arts at all. If you're interested, contact Wendy. This is going to be going up in another week or so, so she really does need to know who's going to be submitting something or other. It'll be a really nice celebration of, how we stitch, weave, knit our community together. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. A very active year for Arts Ministries that we have commented on a number of times in Executive Board. Any questions or comments of Arts Ministries? Okay. Personnel Committee, is there a need? We do have a written report. Do anything that... This is my fun committee. This is the committee that is always the same. It's a standing committee. Not only is it a standing committee, but it's the same three that have done it for a lot of years and do a great job. Okay, so we are done to standing committee reports, so I will entertain a motion to accept the reports of committees. Alice? Thank you, Alice. Moves, and a second. Selena? Selena seconds. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by raising their hands. Any opposed? Oh, Peter, I thought you were going to object, okay. I was looking for the nay vote. Okay, so that was unanimous also, so approved unanimously. Okay, we are into one of our annual meeting, long traditions of the annual meeting, the Ella Bounty Good Neighbor Award. David Connor.
One of the things that you learn when you're given a role like emeritus, that if you were in the pulpit a lot, they want to put you at the end of the meeting so that they can jerk you right off at the end and say, okay, Dave, that's enough. So if you want me to fill, I got a lot of things I can say. But the Good Neighbor Award was because a wonderful neighbor that was here when Ann and I did the Riley thing and moved into the church next door, or the school next door, whatever it was. She was one of the people that was so important to the old meeting house, which was, to me, more like a neighborhood parish in a large city. Everybody has some connection to it, and everybody has a certain relation to it, and some people are long-time participants, and others only come for certain events. And so we felt, when we walked across in the snow that morning, what we were going to find when we walked in here was a weird church where you come in the front, where they can see you, and you can't sneak in the back, like in my days as a Catholic chapter priest. They didn't want to come in front of the pulpit. And so when I took over this, coming over here, I had a sort of unknown young woman singing in the choir. Her name happened to be Selena Moore. And she was quite remarkable, something better than any Catholic choir I'd ever heard. And also, the people were really wonderful. Like, they didn't care that we were flatlanders, that were here for only a year. So but the minister gave a great sermon, but he had a very weird New England name, Hamilton Cole Throckmorton. It was very weird sounding, but he spoke very well. And so he discovered that I could do ministry stuff. So when he wanted to go away, he would let me come and do a service. And so I got sort of roped into the old meeting house, and we went away for our one-year sabbatic out of the Red Schoolhouse and kept coming back here. And then all of a sudden, here we are, still since 1988. I'm still here speaking now with a microphone in my hand. I don't really need a microphone because I have a very loud voice, as people probably know. But I will stay with a microphone. Anyway, the Good Neighbor Award was for Ella LaBounty. She joins a number of Good Neighbor Award recipients who sometimes have given their land, the buildings where we put the parish house up, who come for other reasons, sometimes only because they want the church to do well. And so I even was a good neighbor while I was here to the old West Church. It's the parallel church to this, and I ran their annual meeting for them and prayed at the church. So I even have a link to the companion building for this place. Now I'll stop talking and say that when I ask who's going to be getting the reward this year, I had a couple of ideas. And the first one came from about 12 people and said that the good award, the Ella LaBounty Good Neighbor Award, should go to Catherine Cerulli.
Once I'm speechless. I was the visible piece because I kept snapping the whip on the 200th. But, I'm the tip of the iceberg. And, there's so many committees that do so much. And I just also want to acknowledge all the folks who do all the things that are not seen as easily. And certainly, the trustees are one of those groups, but the coffee hour people, we're not a committee per se, But I just want you to look around, and all of those of you who have ever been a coffee hour host or brought food, would you please stand up so everybody can see who contributes? Let's go for it, kids. I mean, look at this group. Give it, yeah. Woo! Thank you. And I also want to signal out Liz Pritchard because she has been coordinating the Flower Girls. There are 4 of us. And every week, one of us does the flowers, and Liz has been our fearless flower leader. So these are these little invisible things, but they're so important. And, so I got to be visible, but it's because of all of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. And I'm almost done, but I try to find out all the good things that are being done, and I agree with everything that's been said, except there are some people that because they do everything, nobody realizes how much they do. If they ever moved away, we'd have to go and start all over again. And so I thought I would invent my own one time for the sesquicentennial or whatever the hell it is that we're celebrating. And have my own little award, which is the Lifetime Achievement Award, which I think should go to Barb and Alan Plouffe.
Why are you holding that to me? Thank you. Everything I've done is because she tells me it's time to do it. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, David. What more is there to say? No. Yeah, I mean, it has been a lifetime, and not entirely, but the whole time we've been in East Montpelier, we have been doing things with this church, and it's meant a lot to us too. So, thanks.
Thank you, David, for your... Always fun, David, for doing that. So we do have to commission the, not that we have to, but we are going to commission and bless the new committees. But before we do that, any other business that needs to be brought before the annual meeting? Mal?
I know a lot has been said about the trustees, and I agree with it all, but Mark Catlin is the one that keeps us going. He is right on top of everything. He's been a great chairman. I hope he comes on again next year, and we will continue to do what we've been doing, and it's keeping 3 homes up to date. That's what it feels like to me. Mine, this one, and the parish house. And we think we've got it licked, and we say, that's it, and by golly, something else comes up. And that's great because it keeps us active, and we like it. We love doing it. We're well-oiled. We do a good job, I think, and the grounds are beautiful. I see people come to the sign. Since we put the sign up, people come and look at that sign, and I go over. Some of them I bring into the church. They love it. They love the grounds. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place. And the Memorial Garden, I think Mark does a lot of work out there, too, along with other people. But we thank everybody who comes to the work bee. It's a big project, but it's fun. I also want to thank Dana, who's going off the trustees because he's got his hands in about 10 different things. But we thank you, Dana. And Ron, we welcome you to our committee. We'll keep you busy. Just take care of that hand because we need you to work. But thank everybody here for your support of the trustees. We appreciate it.
The old meeting house, buildings and grounds are, to me, truly a sacred place. And come here at dawn or dusk if you have any doubts about that. But a lot of that really is attributable to all the work the trustees do too, just to keep it going and keep it that way. Okay, commissioning and blessing of new committees. We're turning it over to Ramin.
Don't you wish every government operated as fun as we've had today? Like, this has been really fun. I think it's amazing. It says a lot about who you are, your character as a people. So the first commission I would like to do is to the Executive Council. Members of the council, you are charged with keeping sight of the big picture, with holding our vision, honoring our past, and guiding us toward our future. Are you ready and willing to accept this charge? If so, say we are. Next, a commission to the committee chairs. Committee chairs, you are charged with keeping sight of your particular piece of our community's mosaic, with advocating for the needs of the area of our communal life, which is your specific concern, and working with one another for the common good of the whole. Are you ready and willing to accept this charge? If so, say, we are. And to all committee members, for those committee members who are here, you are charged with caring for and nourishing the life of this community of faith, of weaving together the strands of our lives and of the world in which we live into the tapestry of strength, beauty, and inspiration in service to all God's children. Are you ready and willing to accept this charge? If so, say, we are. And to the congregation, to you, the members and friends of this church, the old meeting house, affirm these elected leaders as volunteers who need your support, your participation, and your appreciation, as well as your caring and concern. If so, say, we do. We do. In response to and a sign of this affirmation of your call to service in the name of Jesus Christ, on behalf of our congregation, declare that you are now commissioned to do the work of ministry to which you have been called and elected. May God bless you and make you a blessing for eternity. Amen.
Thank you, Ramin. Order of business, just going forward, for the committees. Just a reminder, the first meeting of each committee, which will be next week, let's see, not this week, not the week we're in, but next week we'll start the committee meetings. At the first meeting of each committee, just so people can keep this in mind, you need to elect a chair. You need to select somebody to be a secretary, to take the notes of the meetings, and get those to Lori ASAP, because she has to get them to the executive board, and also to select a representative to the executive board. The executive board has at-large members, but primarily it's the majority are made up of committee representatives. So all those are really important for the first committee meeting. So if people could keep that in mind when you meet to do that. Lori would appreciate it. We're trying to take work off of Lori. She doesn't have to remind everybody to do that. Just one other thing, and then I'll turn it over to Ramin for closing prayer. Many, many thanks to the executive board. It's been great, 5 years, a lot of wisdom, a lot of experiences. It's really a privilege to be on the executive board, and I think a lot of people really don't know what goes on, but it's a very thoughtful, compassionate group. There is a lot of wisdom there, so I've appreciated that, being able to benefit from that for the last 5 years. So thank you to the board for all you do. Okay, Ramin, with a closing prayer.
Will you pray with me, please? Gracious God, we thank you for the amazing work of all the committee members throughout this past year. We particularly want to thank Maureen and Tim for the excellent work they've done in leading us through the most difficult times, along with Rona, who has retired, but had offered so much love to build this place into what it could be and always will be, a beloved community. And now let us go forth, celebrating who we are, the love that we share, and the love that we give. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, thank you, Ramin. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. I heard Alice. Second? See Joey? A second? Okay. Any discussion? I doubt it. Okay. So all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. We are adjourned.